Hey everybody, it's Ad the Red, and welcome to an internet quiz. Another one. Okay, well, the last one was a Harry Potter thing, which I had done in the words they leave my mind. I had done in not preparation. What? Come on. I can't think of the word, but basically in the event of me doing something else, which that never materialized, still potentially could, but right now I don't have any intentions of doing so. That's neither here nor there, though. In any case, this is. I kind of like to do more basic internet bullshit, like quizzes and stuff, just because I'm a dork like that. And apparently it's for a lot of people because these are really popular. Although this is the Enneagram. I don't know how you're supposed to say it. I've only just recently heard of this anyway. It's one of those personality quizzes that, despite having like some degree of acceptance, it's generally, from the little bit of reading that I've done, cursory stuff, it seems like it's one of those things that's widely disregarded as pseudoscience by the scientific community, which I'm neither here nor there opinion on that. It's not what I'm here to do. I'm just here to take the thing and see what it says. I've done the other one. I don't remember what it's called. The other big one. It's one that gives you like a set of letters that correspond to your personality, supposedly. I was like an INFP T or J, something like that. Anyway, yeah, the Enneagram. I don't even know. There's lots of websites that looked like they had tests. This was the first one that popped up. My browser isn't freaking out about it, and it looks okay. So I'm just gonna go with it and see. I could have opened a bunch of them and looked, but I just went with the first one that was there, so it'll do. The free Enneagram test personality test will show you which of the 9 personality types that best suits you. See how you score for all 9 Enneagram. I don't know Enneagrams and types, and understand where you fit into the Enneagram personality system. To take the Enneagram test, mark each statement based on how it describes your personality. Right? I have not read the questions yet, and I don't know if I said it yet or not, but. I always, with these things, I always try to answer critically, as accurately as possible. There's always some degree of personal bias that really affects you. That's kind of unavoidable. I try to be as honest as I can because there's no fun in it. It's also less interesting to get out of it if it's not potentially more accurate, So, find out some interesting things potentially about myself. Potentially, I'm gonna have some coffee potentially. Right, I strive for perfection. Do I? I don't know about perfection, because perfection's impossible. There's no such thing as perfection. It's a super lofty goal. It's more of an ideal than anything. Really, perfection, you should look at it as striving to do the best that you can, So do I strive for perfection? No, but okay, it's probably not. God, I'm going into the semantically challenged part of my brain again. It's probably not going into where my brain is veering off into. Well, you could interpret it this way. It's probably just being very straightforward. Do you try to be perfect in what you do? No, I don't. I just try to do my best, unless I'm feeling particularly lazy, which right now I am. I could probably bring myself to set up the webcam just because I haven't done it in a while, and I felt like, why not give it a shot? This is mostly just, it's not even like, pretty pictures, it's just this. At least the Harry Potter thing had like fancy stuff happening on the screen. Okay, I work hard to be helpful to others. That depends. There have been occasions where I've been a bit spiteful in my treatment of other people. Not in a sense that it would like harm them. I mean in more of a casual setting kind of thing. Or like in school. I would maybe not help someone out that's also kind of theoretical, because I didn't do a whole lot of group projects, and generally if someone asked me for help with something, it was like they needed to borrow a pencil or something, and I was like, oh yeah, fuck, sure. But I mean, if it's something like if it's like they legitimately need help, or if it's something really easy and I don't dislike the person too tremendously, then yeah, I'll try to help them. So I'll say that's accurate-ish. Not like, I mean, I'm far from super selfless, but I'm not an ass. Moving on. I work hard to, right, I've read that one. It's important to me that other people like me. To a degree. To a very degree. And it's not something I'm happy about, but there is a part of me that, like, I don't try to actively please people. But it's more the reaction that I would prefer to get from people. So for this, I'll go with more neutral. I'm not going to say no, because that would be kind of a lies. But it's not also too incorrect. It's just kind of a straddling the fence deal. It's important to me to achieve great things. Very much important. Yeah, it is important to me. Doesn't mean that I have the willpower to do it. I'm a lazy piece of shit. Not gonna show up? I don't know. I make significant contributions. I make more significant contributions than the average. No, I probably make less. It's just, I feel my emotions very deeply. Yes. Although I'm not nearly as open with displaying them and, displaying or expressing them as I probably should be. Speaking from like a mentally healthy kind of way, not bottling things up. I don't express as much as I should, but I do feel things very intensely. I'm not like a cold slate or something. I have instances that other people will never truly understand me. Not in the way that you're asking. Again, semantics is not what they're asking, but the direction my brain went with that was never truly understand me, as in I have a hard time putting together thoughts sometimes and then expressing those thoughts in a way that make coherent sense to other people. They can kind of come out like a train wreck. What formulates in here makes sense, and then it kind of comes down to here, and at some point between that process and it actually getting out, my brain goes but I'm so misunderstood. Not really. I wouldn't say it's like super inaccurate, but I mean, there have been some cases where I do feel like it's more with like in specific circumstances where I feel like I'm not being understood, in a more general sense, as opposed to me communicating poorly. I think deeply about things. Yeah, too deeply. It's semantically. Yeah, that again. I'm prepared for any disaster. I seek out experiences I know will make me feel happy or excited. I mean, I try to, preferably. I don't typically seek out something that would make me feel sad or angry. Sometimes I do. Not necessarily like consciously, or I just find myself drifting in those directions sometimes. It's old habits die hard. There's just a part of me that's very, very belligerent and angry, and I don't like that part of me, and I've worked for years to get past that and learn to control it and keep it down, because it was physically and mentally exhausting. So I'd say again, probably around like, yes, not neutral, but not, not like I really rush to feel. I mean, happy or. But that's like if I read books because and I play games and stuff because or listen to music because I like the music and it makes me feel happy or maybe excited. It depends. So actually maybe that is more. No, I'll go with that because again there is that subconscious element of me that still clings to more cynical, bitter, pessimistic bullshit that's really not good for anyone. I see the positive in every situation. I technically don't. I try to. I said this before. I don't know if I've ever said in any videos. I'm kind of a optimist by choice because I'm more pessimistic by nature. I try to be more realistic and not look at things as inherently good or bad, but because accepting the bad in the situation can help you move past it, can give you a better grasp of what it is and then how to improve upon things as opposed to just sitting there either ignorant of them or letting them pile up on top of you and crush you, figuratively or potentially physically, depends. I let other people make the decisions. Again, that's kind of in the middle, and it really depends on the kind of decisions being made and my current mental state. But that does vary, and it depends, like I said, on what the decision being made is, the situation that I'm in, the environment, and so on. Okay. I appreciate having rules that people are expected to follow. Kind of yes. Some rules are stupid, but it's good to have a framework. That's kind of that's where I'm going with this. Not all rules are good. Not all of them. Some exist for a very good reason. Some exist because of outdated reasons. And some exist almost just randomly. Like there are some laws, just insert. Like what was one of them? As a local state law. I don't know if it's actually technically still in place, but it's like you can't tie your alligator to I don't know if it was like a bike rack or if it's like tie your alligator to a fire hydrant on this certain day or something, or a certain time of the day or day of the week. But it's something about tying an alligator to something. I'm not making that up. I don't know if it's true, but that's what I remember hearing about a lot in school when we were discussing weird laws. I don't fit into the ordinary. What the fuck does that mean? I don't fit into the ordinary. What is ordinary? Ordinary. There is no ordinary. Ordinary is there's ordinaries. There's just different groups of what is ordinary, and it depends on where you live and who's around you. And that's ordinary. Of ordinary people. I don't fit with some people, but I'm not one of those fuckers who's like, I don't like, I have never used the term normies in a non-satirical sense. Everyone's normal in their own way. It just, again, normal. There is no one set of normal. Normal is where you are, what you are, when you are. There's really a good reason for changing how things are done. No. There are plenty of good reasons for changing how things are done. There's a lot of things that are only in place because they've been in place for a long time. Peer pressure from the dead, that whole thing. I always finish my chores. Always trying to be a better person. Yes. Always trying to improve, trying to get better. I may slow, I may stall, but I'm always attempting to improve. I even made this channel specifically to try and get better at communicating, at speaking, especially off the cusp, because I'm not good at that. This is actually a perfect example of me of something I should do more specifically for that reason, because I don't really have like going off of a story, and where I can react to characters or something. This is just me kind of prattling on. most of my videos, actually, so maybe it's not too different. I like to be around people who I can help. I don't have a... I like to be around people who I can help. Why? It's not like I like to help people. I like to be around people who I can help. That sounds almost like savior complex kind of thing. Or like I get my self-worth by putting myself around people that I feel like need my help or will likely need my help, which is almost codependent. Is that the right term? I don't remember. I don't remember a lot of things. That just doesn't sound. I mean, I feel that I'm an important person in my social groups. Yeah. I would like to think that, and weirdly enough, and this is gonna sound egotistical, a lot of the times, like, kind of important. Not okay. Notice the quotation marks. I've always seemed to have attracted more attention than I seem to be worth. I don't understand it. I don't know if it's the kind of people that I end up interacting with, if it's me, or what. But that's just like, it's just weird series of recurring events throughout my life with different groups of people. It always seems to have very similar settings, or well, sets of circumstances. But I do like to feel that I'm important because I don't like feeling like I'm being ignored or worthless. You know, I'm self-conscious and I'd like to feel important. It's important to me to be successful. Yes, but not to an extreme. Because to me, success is just doing well, you know, being able to. It's one of those things where, like, what do you view as being successful personally, right? Do you view it as having a giant house and, you know, luxury sports cars and 5 bathrooms? For me, success is just being able to, you know, make enough money to live comfortably, to not have to worry about bills and rent, you know, not have to worry about how much money I'm gonna have left after that, because that is a very real concern. It's been that way for a long time. So it is important to me to be successful just because it brings security and stability. There you go. The organizations I belong to would not function without me. Okay. Neutral, actually. Because generally that's not true. But my previous job, I absolutely stand by the fact that without me, it would not work almost at all. That's mostly because it was practically a two-person operation most of the time, and I was the one doing most of the work. So without me, yes, it would have taken a lot longer, and no guarantee that that my employer would have been able to keep as big of a territory as he had. I've always felt different from other people. The fuck does that mean? That could be taken so many different ways. So I'm just saying, it depends. I avoid situations that bring up negative feelings. Yes, not always, but I typically do because I don't like being stressed. Because, like I said, I have a very bad tendency to, especially when I was younger, lots of anger issues. Angry a lot of the time, and it really was, it wasn't just mentally exhausting. I felt physically tired all the time, and my just general, mental health was just not good. I'm doing much better now than I was a few years ago. I seek excitement. Not really. I go on with what people want. I'm going to say neutral, because that, again, depends. Sometimes I don't mind. someone wants to play a certain game or go to a specific place, maybe I don't care. But if I'm uncomfortable with that, or if I don't like the thing that they suggest, then typically I'll tell them, and I'll try to compromise somehow. Because if I'm not going to enjoy it, then I'm probably just going to end up bringing the whole situation down for everyone, which is usually what ends up happening. So I've learned the hard way that setting that boundary of saying like, look, so actually, you know what? I'll put it kind of, well, no, because like I said, if it's not something I'm against or uncomfortable with, then I won't care. I see relationships that offer me some type of protection. No. I've never really pursued a relationship with people. Generally, if they happen, they happen. Which usually ends up surprising me when they do form, because it's with people I never expected that they had formed with. Really, like one of my closest friends. Never thought I'd actually get to know the guy really well. Ever. And then one day, I was wandering aimlessly around the classroom because I didn't know what group to sit with because I barely knew anyone in that class. And he goes, hey, free seat, sit here. I said, okay, cool, thanks. I sat down. And from that point on, we just kind of hit it off. Slowly at first, and then it just kept going, and we're still in contact after getting out of high school. Years, Average people often find me a bit weird. Again, what is average? If I'm honest, I feel that I'm a bit better than other people. No. There have been moments, and I usually catch those, and I berate myself for them. But yeah, there's a side of me that does like whisper those horrible little thoughts of, but you're better than that person. You do that better. Shut the fuck up. I probably don't actually. Why do you think that? And for a reason. And even then, why does that matter? It doesn't. It shouldn't. I'm very ashamed that that's even remotely true. I hate it. I hate so many things about myself. I feel a deep sense of grief for what I have lost. I tend to understand things more deeply than most people do. How do I know? I don't. I have no way of knowing that. And I don't think that. So no. Just neutral. Just no. I'm not going to say it's wrong or I'm just going to say it's just. I don't. Okay. These questions, some of them are really vague or just like too broad, that they should be more defined answers. And some of them are questions. I mean, I made plans for many years. No, I'm an unusually unique. Just fuck it. No, I'm pretty sure I'm not. Actually, okay, neutral. I don't know. There's no way I can answer that. How the fuck can I? No, I'm like everybody else. Or yes, I'm extremely unique. I read books that help me be more productive. No, I don't read self-help books. I just flat out don't. I don't care. Maybe I should, but a lot of them are scams. A lot of them are. That's more of a generalization. There are a lot of them that are more than likely scams, based on odds and stuff. People selling you things just to make money off of people who are desperate to get help or to, learn ways to make money or hopefully, or, whether they are seeking it out of desperation or whether they're looking for a shortcut, people will go to seminars or buy books or whatever, or listen to podcasts or certain people. And not all of them are shams, but there are a lot of them. And there's probably, like I said, odds and all, there's probably more that are bullshit than there are that are legit. Which is why I don't focus so much of my time on it, because, like, why go to the trouble of sifting through all that? I put a lot of pressure on myself to do the right things. Yeah, I put a lot of pressure on myself to do what I believe to be the right things. Yes, I do put a lot of pressure on myself. I can describe my emotions in a lot of depth and detail. Potentially. Okay. Hi. Go just set from circles to squares. Why you do this? Like I said, I'm not good at expressing emotions super well, or like really diving into them. It's in my own head, yes, but openly, not so much. I'm like an outsider. Sometimes yes. I'm not going to go into this, but it's not probably the reason that this would typically be assumed. It's not one of those I feel different from everybody else. But there have been instances where specifically I have felt like I may not quite mesh with these people specifically. I find my mind to be a very interesting place. Define interesting. That has several different meanings, so I'm just gonna go with because again, what does that mean? What is interesting? Do you mean like creative, or captivating, or just interesting? As in interesting can just mean weird. I'm always aware of what can go wrong in a situation. No, I am not always aware. I try to be, but that doesn't always happen, and sometimes stuff slips through and goes wrong anyway. I believe that things usually work out for the best. That's the thing. Usually, it's up to the situation, and and what could be the best potential outcome based on odds and so on. As things go wrong, that happens, and if they do, you have to accept it, and if possible, do anything you can to rectify it, or at the very least build back up from that. The pessimist, I see it as it's defeatist. You get locked in there and you're like, well, what's the point? And it just like I said earlier, it just piles on. Whereas a full-blown legitimate optimist, hardline, I guess, is the better word for it, as opposed to generalizing optimists. It's more ignorant to it, and even if something goes wrong, they just kind of keep going. Like, oh, things will work out fine, and that can cloud too. I think that's maybe a little healthier than the hardline pessimist, because at least the optimist will probably still keep going, regardless. The pessimist may not, but yeah, it's some things go well, some things don't. It happens, and you have to accept it and go with the flow of the situation. Like I said, try to improve if something goes wrong. If it's unsalvageable, then leave it behind and move on to something else. So that's kind of a no. It's not like a hard, like I said, not hard line, things never work out. They don't always work out. That's just a matter of life. They don't. God, this is. I'm not an expert on these things. I try to think these things through, but I don't. A lot of this is very much more how I think and how I look at things, which could, it's all subjective. At least I feel like most of it is subjective. I have different interests in most. I hate these. I want to learn as much as I can about how the world works. Yes, I would love to, and I'm always doing little bits of random bullshit, amateur research and stuff. I just love, facts and trivia and reading up on things. History, world history and stuff like that's always been one of my favorite subjects. Different cultures, cultures from a societal standpoint to, ancient religion and folklore, all this, yeah. Mm-hmm. Other people have stronger opinions than I do. I mean, probably. And some people might not. What do you mean this is... Everyone has a role to play in society and a duty to do their best. I'm going to go neutral on this. Because here's why. I'd say yes in the sense that people tend to find their own role to play. Right? People find what works for them. And for some people that may mean settling, even if they don't enjoy it. It works. Works doesn't necessarily have to mean good. Or optimal, really. And a duty to their best. That really depends on what their role is and how they view it. This is extreme. Like, How am I supposed to take this? From the personal interpretation route of it, of the role that people choose, or allow themselves to be, or the roles that are assigned to them by society, or that they feel have been assigned to them by society, you know? So that's a very kind of question to me. I'm an average person with ordinary likes and dislikes. Probably, yeah. Self-improvement is a major interest. Yes. You're calculating your basic report results. The basic report is going to give you an overview of your personality type. You can also upgrade to the full report. Of course. With detailed descriptions, deep insight into your true motivations, and also your strengths and blind spots. I mean, if it gives me anything, I'll be satisfied. I was afraid it would, start loading and be like, now to access your report, and send you through a whole list of bullshit. The graph below shows how you scored on each of the 9 types in Enneagram. In this graph, the area of each section indicates your score, with larger sections having a much better match of your personality. Right. Your type in depth. Your primary type is 2. In this section, we'll dive deeper into the 2 profile to understand how it drives your core emotions, fears, and desires, as well as how to impact relations work. 2s seek to love and help the people around them. They intuitively perceive in others need their support, and they offer unconditionally. Skilled in seeing the good in people, 2s will praise others warmly, being always ready to the kind word and the listening ear. They have a knack for making others feel the most important person. You see, I don't know if I don't really feel like that's right. That feels too praising. Tone it down some and you may be close to what I feel like I'm. Okay. Oh, okay. Well, at least there's this. How do you describe as the giver? No, 2s want to be liked and find ways that they can be helpful to others so they can be loved and belong. 81% match for 3. The achiever want to be successful by other people and are very conscious of public image. The individualist 4s them to be unique and to live life authentically and are highly tuned to their emotional experience. Want to be unique and live life authentic? What is authentic? That's subjective. The only part of this that sounds like me is this. And that's not even entirely true. Sometimes I have no idea what the fuck is going on in my head. The investigator. 5s seek understanding and knowledge and are more comfortable with data than people. That sounds a lot like me. What makes you unique? Extensive creative abilities and find everything that insexual. Look at the traits that are unique to you, both of the traits that can be used as super strengths and those which may be holding you back. Well, you'll find information on the top 3 traits that you can harness as your personal superpowers, and the top 3 traits which may be stopping you from achieving what you desire. Anxiety, very self-effacing, and still kind of pessimistic by nature. Well, also lazy. One important thing to remember is that personality traits are never all good or all bad. Every trait has possible benefits and potential downsides on how you use it. I mean, that's not wrong. I just have a feeling that they're wording it that way to be intentionally vague as opposed to just being straight up about it. Which of your personality traits are your biggest assets? We have all of our strengths and weaknesses, and many psychologists believe that the key to success is not trying to overcome all your flaws, but rather making the most of what you have going for you. Depends on the flaw. Let's look at how some traits that you may be able to deploy to your benefit. Emotion. Right, okay. Emotionally created deep and nuanced and how you tell what you're feeling. Yeah, but emotion. Okay. Oh. Okay. Well, I guess there you go. I'm not going to shell out any money to get the full things because I can't be bothered, and I don't even know if it's worth it. But there you go. I have a graph. I hope this has been enlightening and not terribly boring. I feel like it's going to be a pretty basic video I'll just toss out one day and let it go because... But I hope you enjoyed. I doubt you did, but I can always hope. So, if you enjoyed, please don't leave me. No. Thank you very much for watching. I do hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in whatever the hell I do next.